asked this morning to share, of course, my testimony. My testimony really just starts out basic. I was born here in the great state of Virginia. I've been raised here for the past 26 years. I've been raised by two wonderful parents, my father and my mother. My father, of course, a retired Army veteran. My mother, of course, comes from the wonderful country, the Central American country of Honduras. So, yes, I like talking about that. My dad can tell you. But it's truly a blessing to have been raised here, been raised by wonderful parents. They raised me as best as they could, and I think that the end result really speaks for itself. Now, of course, I didn't start out, of course, with the Church of God. I actually started out with the Church of Christ. I started attending Providence Church of Christ since the day I first drew breath on this earth. It was only when I was roughly about 7 years old that we had parted ways from the church, but we had found new home with Azalea Garden Church. We had found refuge, of course, with the Spanish church first for the sake of my mother. Some years down the road, we eventually started attending, of course, the joint congregation, the American congregation. From there, sometime during my middle school years, the Lord had called it upon me to join the worship team. And at that time, I was still learning the basics of guitar. My dad was kind of teaching me a little bit at the time. But I was definitely called by God to join the worship team. That was a little over 13 and a half years ago. I've, of course, been part of the sanctuary choir. I've been part of the youth worship team, and of course, most recently, the young adult worship team. It's truly been a blessing on my life to be able to share the abilities God has given me. And I'll say, learning the guitar was not an easy feat because I couldn't practice. Part of me didn't want to practice because I said, "Hey, I'll get this down fast." I didn't. It took me over a year to get the guitar down pat. But as soon as I started mastering that skill, I just took it upon myself to bring it to the worship team attention and say that, hey, I want to join the worship team. I want to share what God has given me. He's served me well, and I'll continue to serve the Lord well in that capacity. Now, of course, at the time, I was just like a lot of typical teenagers. You know, a lot of the time that learning guitar, the only thing on your mind when playing guitar is you try to impress the girls. And in some capacity, that's still there, but no. It's still there. It's still there. No. But some years down the road, I kind of backed myself into a corner, saying that this mentality won't get me anywhere. My parents have constantly reminded me of that. That kind of mentality will only get you so far in life. And I think it was sometime in my more closer to adult years, I really started to realize what it means to be on the worship team. It means to be anointed by God, to be a representative, to be able to sing the songs that He has put on my heart.